All right, got kicked off, but we're back. Cool. So picking up where we left off, we're slicing down some carrots. Notice I'm holding my carrots. I'm not slicing like this. That's how you lose fingertips. Boom. So pull back a couple inches from the edge. Then you're rolling your knuckles forward. Because what happens is you have your knife that ends up using the knuckles as a guideline instead of cutting like this. Okay? Fingers here, a couple inches back. Rolling them forward. Use the knuckles as your guide. And you slowly just take your time. Kind of roll through the carrots. Gordon Ramsay said that he could always spot from across the kitchen, a mile away, those chefs who are super nervous or don't have that, don't have that much experience using a knife while they're cutting. Because they're usually cutting like this, right? And super uptight. Just relax. Take your time, no rush. Keep those fingertips in. Notice I'm still holding my knife. Easy peasy. Okay, so once we get all of our carrots chopped up, what we're going to do is just going to add these into the pan that we'll be using. I know I didn't show you guys this, but I rinsed all of my vegetables as well. But I'm going to rinse my kale again just to kind of show you. Now real quick, let's take a peek at the chicken and see how the chicken's looking. So color, GBD, golden brown delicious is what we want. So we can go way longer than that. So we're just getting started on that chicken. I'm actually going to turn it up just a little bit just to promote some more color. All right. So now it's time to knock out the kale. Okay, cool. So just a quick rinse on the kale. Normally what I do is I like to soak my vegetables, soak them in just a bowl of water for 5 to 10 minutes. It kind of helps break up some of the dirt, especially when you're using organic produce. But just soak them in a bowl of water and then give them another quick rinse. So now what I like to do is with the kale is I like to cut it both horizontally and vertically. So I'm going to go right down the middle. I'm just drawing lines right now. That's basically it. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit it vertically. So my knuckles are still in, but I'm just chopping up pieces here. You can do this with a knife, or I'll show you both. So you can do this with a knife, add that into your pan, or you can just take it and use your hands. Either way is cool. Get a nice little forearm workout, grip strength workout while you're doing this. Cool, so I'm going to put this into my pan. So one thing I did leave out, and this is the beauty of doing lives, is you get to see, do things on the fly and have hiccups, make mistakes on the fly. One thing I did forget is some grip underneath of my cutting board. You don't want a sliding cutting board. So you can take an actual towel or a paper towel, get it damp, put that under your cutting board so it doesn't slide as much. There, it's way better. All right, cool. So I'm going to do one more bunch of kale. But before I do that, my water's boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and add my pasta. So I had a bunch of people tell me they had rotini and different types of pasta at their house that they're trying to get rid of. This is a cool gluten-free pasta. You can get this anywhere, Safeway, Whole Foods. Corn flour and rice flour, 2 ingredients. All right. So here's a really cool option. We'll probably need maybe 10 minutes on this, but I've got a gallon of water to about, let's see how much, we got 12 ounces of pasta in here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my water. Boom. Take a sip of my black tea. Chicken's taking its time, low heat, no rush on the chicken. Okay. Now I'm going to do the other head of kale. Again, soaked these earlier, but I'm just kind of doing a quick rinse again, so just to really highlight the importance of working with clean produce. All right, so I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did earlier. I'm going to cut that right down the middle. This way. So what we're going to do, just to kind of give you a heads up of what we're doing with the kale, is we are going to throw it in a pot, add some olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice, and salt, pepper. We're going to cover it and forget about it. I'm just kidding, I'm not going to forget about it. We're going to throw it in the oven and let it rock and roll for about an hour. So my pot is getting pretty full, so I'm going to stop after this. Move you over here, and all I'm going to do now is add a little bit of, I've got pink Himalayan sea salt here, actually pretty low. Cool, so I'm going to grab a little bit more salt. Celtic sea salt, good stuff, unprocessed. Just a little bit. Black pepper. And guys, you can literally do this with any kind of hearty winter veg or root veg, if you will. I do this with beets all the time and it comes out great. Olive oil. Olive oil for size like this, I don't know, maybe 7 cups of kale, about half a cup of olive oil will take care of you. Lemon juice, about half of a big, these lemons, we've got a lemon tree in the back, these lemons are huge. So half of a big one whole, maybe 2, depending on how much citrus you like in your vegetables. Put it right in there. Keeping this really simple. You can add garlic, you can add shallots as well. Before I cover that and put that in, I'm going to give it a nice quick stir. Easiest way to do this is in a mixing bowl, but if you want to just minimize dishes and things like that, you can just keep it right inside of the pan that you're cooking in. Remember, this is probably going to reduce like almost down to half this size. So before I actually put that in, I'm actually going to add the rest of my kale. Throw everything in there. Throw the stems. That's where a lot of the nutrients are. Again, quick tear. Boom. Awesome. You can even add a little bit more seasoning if you want, if you add more kale, or if you add more kale to the mix. Cool, so I've got my kale, my carrots, salt, pepper, seasoning in here. I'm gonna go ahead and add this, put this right into the oven. My oven's already set at 255. We're going to check that in about an hour. Let's take a peek at what's going on over here at the stove. Andre, what's going on? What's happening, Age? Dr. Spicer, I think I saw you on here earlier. If you're still on, hello. All right, so I'm about 60 seconds out from my pasta being done. I'm actually just going to pull the pasta now Because what happens with our pasta is we get what's called carryover cooking. So make sure you guys can see me. Carryover cooking meaning the heat from your pan or from the pasta will still actually cook that item. So pulling it off that burner and cutting the heat, letting that sit for a little bit. I normally do not season my pasta. Some people do. I don't. I actually wait until I'm actually cooking with it. That's perfect. That's a nice al dente. So I'll let that sit for a second. Chicken, let's see how the chicken's looking. So we're starting to get some browning here. It's looking better. That's what we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip. One thing that you can do for time, I'm just gonna flip the one piece. One thing you can do for time is if you want to speed up your chicken preparation process, you can add a lid on there and cover it up. But I like to let it breathe, let it do its own thing. Cool. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grab a strainer, strain my pasta. As much as you can, gang. You wanna try and clean as you go. So I'm gonna hit the trash can. By the way, all of these steps, these processes, they're literally all in your quick start guide. I'm basically just following exactly what's exactly in your quick start guide. All right, straining my pasta. If you really like that al dente kind of feel to your pasta, what you can do is run some cold water over it. Or do an ice bath, up to you. So that's really going to stop the cooking. Awesome, so I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning while I move on to the next thing, just to tighten some things up. Super, super important. It makes life easier. It's gonna make you, you know, that much more excited about cooking again, because like you're already gonna be a beast at cleaning up during, which means there's like less than half of you know, what you'd have to clean up at the end. Boom. What's up, Genesis? All right, cool. So now, it pretty much just comes down to the waiting game. The chicken will be done in about probably 15 minutes. And I just know that from experience. But this is the look you want. You want to get some like golden brown color on there. Just take it nice and slow, super low, and that helps lock in the moisture. There's another quick tip when you're cooking, just a good habit to be in. It's very easy to get caught up or distracted. So when and if at all possible, try to keep your handles right out of the way, off from the edge. This is technically a bad habit too, but it's something I still do. Try not to leave your utensils near here, especially if it's wooden, right? But just put that right on your cutting board. Stay on top of tightening things up along the way. And what we're going to do is I'm going to shoot another live in a little bit once some of these items are done. But when it comes to cooking with really good nutrient-dense foods, you want to make sure you're taking your time and you're not cranking the heat on these items. When you crank the heat on these items, you really just cook out the nutritional value of a lot of these products, produce, protein, you know, smart carbs, fats. You're just like cooking it right out. So taking your time, cooking nice and low and slow, having fun with it, like I said, cleaning along the way. Yeah, those are some of the tips that if you continue to build off of that, life just gets so much easier. So I hope that was super helpful. We're going to be doing more of these for sure. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in a little bit.